All right, so I know this is not a sort of regular video that I normally do on this channel, but if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, be sure to tell me, and I will do more of these. So lately, I've been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon. For those of you who know, it's kind of like a side-scrolling action, kind of like I would even say like D&D-esque game where you enter into an a world very much inspired by eldritch horror and other sorts of monstrosities, sort of like grim dark universe. I don't know about grim dark, but it's like a dark fantasy universe. And I just wanted to talk about the stress mechanic because I think it is really well done as a mechanic, and in the ways it mirrors life. I think I like to look at the games I play and sort of take lessons out of them in terms of like how they can teach me things about being, like existing, living life. So I found that the stress mechanic was something that was really helpful to me in the past 6 months of my life, I would say. And I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. So let's get into it. So here's the flow of the video. We're going to look at the stress mechanic overview for those of us who are not sure or like have never played Darkest Dungeon or seen it. And then of course there's like the 100 stress check. Something happens when you reach 100 stress. And then afflictions and virtues. And then we'll talk a little bit about how I think this mirrors life. So stress affects everyone in the game. No matter how badass your character is, no matter how tough or experienced they may be, everybody can get stressed out in this game. Stress accumulates over the course of the game. If you can see here, these characters are in a very bad position. The stress bar can fill up twice. The first time is the little black sort of centered rectangles with the white border. And the second time is when the whole thing turns white. So yeah, some activities relieve stress. So for example, when your characters kill an opponent or land a critical hit, or some characters can, play some songs, such as our jesters. You can see them on the screen right now on the left and the right, can also relieve stress. But it's easier to be stressed in the game. Like almost everything does some stress to you. Getting like terrifying events will stress you out. By the way, characters have like on average 30 health. So getting crit for 60 is your entire health bar. So yeah, your character will take massive stress damage along with the entire team. So at 100 stress, you get a stress test. Like a resolve is tested. And what happens is there's a 75% chance that you will have an affliction. And an affliction is basically just like your mind breaks and like you're just like terrified or like you're abusive or you're masochistic. So there's a bunch of different things that happen. But all in all, it's negative. It's bad for your team. It's bad for your character as well. And we also have virtues, which have a 25% chance of propping up when your stress check is tested. And if you do become virtuous, your stress is brought down, but not to 0, right? You're brought down to like 40, which is still better than being at 100. And so I guess here comes the part where I discuss a little bit about how I think this mirrors life. And the thing is, it's like, just like life, stress builds up, obviously. And I found that, it's easier to be more stressed when you are kind of stressed than it is to relieve stress. You kind of have to like be away from the things in order to be de-stressed. But obviously, I think this is stuff that everyone kind of already knows. But I think the things that really did stand with me is the idea of the afflictions, of being afflicted versus being virtuous, and how it's such a high chance to be afflicted versus such a low chance to be virtuous. And that is like to stand tall in the face of stress. Because, I don't know, I was super busy like a while ago, and I just thought like I couldn't handle it. I was like, there's too much. Like basically, I was hitting a stress check of 100, basically. And one thing I realized is like, I think when I thought about it like that, I was like, oh, this moment right here in life is exactly like what's happening in the game. I hit a stress check of 100, and the thing is like, I think when I recognized that, I realized like, oh my God, I can choose to try and be virtuous, try and be focused, to be powerful, to be stalwart. I guess those are some of the virtues you can get in this game. And I was like, I'll see this activity through, I'll make sure like I'll do a good job, like we can do this, like, I'm cut out for this, right? And that really did help me deal with like the stresses of life, like just being super busy and like wanting to do different things, having so many things happening at the same time, like just trying to juggle all the events. And now that I think about it, it didn't really reduce my stress all the way down to nothing, right? I was still stressed, but like things didn't affect me as much. And when you become virtuous, sometimes your characters will stress heal like just randomly. It's a small amount, but it's still better than nothing. And in a way, I found that was also comforting. Like that did happen. But the thing is, like, the longer you are in that situation, so for example, if you're exploring a very, very long mission and you're still like battling through it, which is kind of like what happened to me. It was a very long excursion in a pretty stressful sort of situation. I found that even though I reacted virtuously, I guess, eventually the stress was too much, and it did sort of like make me crumble and cave in. And so I guess the game does sort of emulate that part as well. It's harder to really make that connection, but like in a way, it's like you realize that like even though you can be strong in the face of stress, it still will come and like get you. Like it'll still eat away at you at the very end. Like you can still get up to 100 stress or even go over on a character who is virtuous, but it's just harder. But it's not impossible, right? If you keep going in some of the extra long missions, it is possible for that to happen. And I found that touch like very interesting. I don't know. I just think I really like enjoy how the stress mechanic sort of mirrors life, and like I guess seeing it happen before I actually had a similar situation happen to me. Obviously, I didn't go into a dungeon and all that stuff. Not like, but like just like life stuff, right? Happened to me. I sort of was able to cope with it better because I realized like I have a choice, right? Like I mean, if I didn't choose to think about it like that, I probably would have entered like the game in Affliction. You know, I would have been like, I don't know, hopeless or something. That could have happened, right? And that's terrible because that makes you even more stressed out, more susceptible. And when you hit 200 stress in the game, your character has a heart attack and like they immediately go to 0 health or they die. But I don't know. That part's probably unrealistic to real life. You know what? Maybe it might be true. Honestly, I've never been there, so I can't tell that. I can't tell you about that. But yeah. I don't know. I found like this game's stress mechanic gave me strength to persevere in the face of stress, and I think I just wanted to pay homage to it and like tell you guys about it. It's like something just that I found interesting. And I guess the best way to end this off is one quote that did stick with me from this game. Darkest Dungeons is a very quotable game, by the way. Is that here's the quote that helped me get through the stress. I think the quote was, "Now is the time to perform beyond your limits." And I don't know, I had that quote resonate in my mind a lot during that super stressful period. And now that like I'm out of it, like because I'm on summer break kind of, and things have been calmed down, I see that like, yeah, all of those things were manageable. I think the one thing that this game doesn't capture is that I think your tolerance for stress might be higher after being stressed out and then being virtuous. Although I have yet to figure that out. We'll see in a few months because I think things will start going back up to high gear in a bit. But yeah, that's about it. There's a little homage to the Darkest Dungeon stress mechanic system. I just decided to like sort of throw this together because I really enjoyed it. I thought it informed me on how to live a little. I don't know if you guys do this, but like I do this a lot with all my games. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and let me know what you guys think about it. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.
The tires! Let's light some fires!
Need a light.
They picked the wrong fight.